Kids are naturally curious, and I think that what I'm hearing from you is I understand where you're maybe potentially coming from, but then where's the line between that sex education and introducing them to porn? Because porn can be educational. I was a virgin when I got married, and for years I was made fun of and heard, well, how are you gonna know if you don't try it? We hear that a lot too. If you haven't tried to kiss a girl to see if you like it or not, then how do you really know that you're not a lesbian? How do you really know that you're not gay if you've never slept with a guy? How do you really know that you want to be in a monogamous relationship if you don't sleep around? And when you start to introduce those questions to children, specifically prepubescent ones, they're going to naturally be curious, and their emotional and hormonal maturity is not there to be making those types of decisions that have lifelong impact.
Well, she is bodying this interview. Oh my God. Oh my God. She's bodying this interview. She's hitting everything on a fucking head. All right, man. Torture Talk. Like, share, subscribe to the page. So today I'm going to be reacting to a conversation between conservatives and liberals when it comes to teaching their kids. So, okay. Get into it.
It sounds like what you're saying is you want to be able to introduce all ways of life.
Yes.
So would it be okay to include a book with a man having a relationship with a 12-year-old in that book? I know it's extreme.
No.
Hold on, but just hear me out.
Because now
Hear
you're
me out.
equivocating gay people to pedophiles.
No. This is why I'm bringing it up, is who establishes the boundary.
The law.
Teachers have their own political agendas. Step forward if you agree.
Level up your online casino experience and earn Valley Bucks on every bet. Start playing at Valley Casino today.
I think it's important to recognize that individuals will have political agendas. It's a natural thing, and people should understand their political views. I think where we need to differentiate it is whether a teacher should have a political agenda in a classroom.
But is your idea of a political agenda like these teachers telling students, this is who you should vote for, if you vote for these people, it's wrong.
Yes,
if you vote for
or
these people, it's right.
ridiculing the beliefs that they may have for political or religious reasons, and using their position of authority to mold the minds of everyone else.
When it comes to diversity or these new sort of terms, I am not for certain types of so-called diversity when it comes to these new kind of topics. And
Could you expand upon that? Like, what do you think shouldn't
like critical
be included?
race theory or some of the gender ideologies. It's not diverse if you're the teacher, the person of authority in the classroom, and you are saying this is how something should be.
Yeah, so I come from an elementary perspective. I'm a first grade teacher, so the conversations we're having in class isn't about the socioeconomic nature of the world. But you know, we do talk about just what it looks like for different people in different communities. So when I talk about a political agenda, the agenda that I have in the classroom is to create an environment where folks are able to, you know, better understand from wherever someone's coming from.
The problem with that, and I understand the sentiment as a teacher, if a child is sitting there and they happen to be black, and you're saying, well, black people, such and such and such. I mean, you're really, that's not okay.
I do have to stop you there, because that's not really said. It's not said black people do this.
Well,
it's not said Mexicans do this. Again, it's trying to understand from multiple perspectives. That's not saying that every group aligns on the same thought. That's not saying every group is a monolith. What it's saying is, even if you disagree with somebody or you come from a different tradition or a different cultural background, those people's opinions can still be valid.
And the disagreeer step forward.
All right, so yeah, that was pretty interesting what she said. All right, so I appreciate what both of them said in this exchange. I think that the black woman, she hit it home when she was talking about critical race theory, when she said that basically she don't really want her kids to be basically taught by someone that is how would I say this, like basically putting their ideology on her kids. And I can understand why she would say that, because I think for the most part that's what it is. Like, everybody says critical race theory is something different, or it's this and it's that. And it's like, no, the way y'all teaching it, y'all teaching kids not to love each other and to hate each other. Because truth be told, most children, they don't really see color. But it's the parents and it's the teachers and it's the woke revolutionary, I would say, is really putting that in their heads. Because kids nowadays, if you basically taught kids how to love and just basically taught them that everybody's equal and not teach them that, oh, the atrocities of the past, I think that if you did that, more kids life would be better for more kids. But I think that when you're teaching these people the atrocities of the past, you got to understand that a lot of these people, they're not going to accept that pain. They're gonna take it as, that's my enemy, or he's my enemy, or she's my enemy, and that's it. They're not gonna accept it as, okay, well, black people we learned that, white people had us enslaved and we changed. They're not gonna accept that. Most of these kids are not gonna accept that. They're gonna take the worst part of it, and that's what they're teaching. They're teaching the worst part of it. They're not teaching the best part of it, for the most part.
I'm gonna be honest, as a teacher, especially after COVID and all of that, I don't have time for a political agenda. I'm here trying to catch up with curriculum, pick up my readers that are, 2, 3 grade levels behind. I do not have time for that. I teach social emotional skills and all of that, but I'm not here to kind of, you need to believe this, and that. No. If you're a good person, we're good. We're gravy. All good. You know what I mean?
But your definition, and sometimes this can happen and it becomes political, is what is your definition of a good person? Would you think that I'm a good person because I'm raising my kids to be with Judeo-Christian values and they live in a heteronormative home where we talk about how divorce is wrong, cheating is wrong. We have friends of the LGBT community, but we teach our children that from a biblical perspective, that's not okay. Your definition.
She is bodying this right now. She's bodying this. I like her. She bodying this right now. She doing her thing right now.
Of whether or not they are good could be very different than my definition of whether or not they are good.
To kind of clarify, in my classroom, if they're kind and they're not bashing anybody, judging anybody, kind of throwing out names, anything like that, they're good. It's not to say that topics like that don't come up in class. And I do open it up to discussion. I just keep it clear that this is a safe space. We don't judge each other. We're not going to bash each other. I understand you have your own experiences, but we're not going to come in with an agenda, you can say. And I feel like this idea of parents and their teachers of their political biases and all of this is just all of this fear that is clouding their judgment, clouding.
Except we have numerous, not just.
We have experiences.
Yeah, my own child, first week of school, what pronouns you wanted to go by? I mean, not what's your favorite subject, how can I help you?
Why are teachers asking kids what pronouns do they want to go by? I don't understand that. Why is that even a topic? Why? As if a child can make that type of decision anyway. Why are y'all not consulting with the parents on this? Why not to say, let me talk to the parents? Why not at the parent-teachers conference say, hey, listen, do your kids go by any pronouns? Do they do that? Why not do that? It's like the teachers are taking it upon themselves to do whatever they want to do, and they get mad when they get corrected. It's like, well, this is how I'm going to do it. That has nothing to do with academia or learning anything. I don't understand this.
Succeed academically.
Who's to say that wasn't a part of the questions too, And I understand that question could stand out.
So maybe you don't understand that you're teaching politics.
But that's not politics. That's just like basic respect.
I think that's beautiful.
But it's not to me.
That's beautiful.
Not to me.
So I think you need your idea that's basic respect. What is the framework of that? Because I think that many teachers are going through these trainings, and the trainings are saying this is the framework of how we operate in the classroom. But where did that idea come from?
Because it's based off. It's called a thing called data.
Did you do that?
No, hold on.
See. This is where it takes a turn for the worse. It's always got to be some goofy ass black nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, They're having a civil conversation, and you coming in being snarky and sarcastic. It's called a thing called data. Like, what are you talking about? Just say the data shows that. Why do you have to belittle people? I know you ain't a teacher. There's no way that this guy could be a teacher. I know he's not a teacher.
A lot of schools have research and development, and so the state also does. So in the state of California, we do research. So at the end of the day, my job is not just to make your kid to feel comfortable. I got 55 students. I got to make 55 students feel comfortable. And so when your kid comes home and tells you, well, Mom, the teacher said, what's my pronouns? Yeah, I did say what's your pronoun. I also said, what's your favorite TV show? What's your favorite food? I am a college professor now. I was previously a 3rd, 4th grade teacher. Teaching 3rd and 4th grade was horrible. Dealing with parents who thought their child was special and should be treated a certain way. It just wasn't doable.
Oh my God, bro. Shut the fuck up, nigga. Shut up, nigga. Dealing with 4th graders, parents who thought their kids were special. Every parent should think their kid is special, you goofy ass nigga. You are a goofy nigga. What kind of goofy nigga says shit like that? Yo, bro, if you sound like you don't even want to be a teacher. If you don't want to be a teacher and you got to put up with people, why are you even doing it? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Constant complaining, accusing people of doing things that are not going on in our classes, not being enough for their child. It was just too much. When parents don't have the knowledge of what goes on inside of a school, I think it's important for those parents to go to the school, and we as educators like our parents to be involved. You know, again, I have too many students to push an agenda. I do my job, what they pay me to do.
But this nigga sounds like he has an issue with teaching. There's things going on that's not going on in the class. Listen, bro. Obviously, there's something going on in the class that the parents have a problem with. They're not just conjuring this shit off the top of their head. Some people or their kids are going and saying that. People have a problem with you asking their kids what their pronouns are. Especially conservative mothers and fathers who don't agree with it. I don't understand why y'all don't accept that. Why don't y'all accept that? Some parents just don't agree with that shit. The same way some parents agree with it. Y'all accept the ones that agree with it, then accept the ones that don't. I don't understand it. Why are y'all so upset about it? They don't agree with it. Just respect the parents' decision not to have their kids talking about that type of shit. Why y'all get so upset about it? It's so crazy to me.
Discussion about sexuality doesn't belong in schools.
I had a sex ed class when I was in 3rd grade, and it was quite simple. Boys go in this room, girls go in this room, they play a little video on a black and white TV. You know, you see the genitalia, and you're like, oh God, I got one of those, cool, now we're figuring out what I am. The fear is these schools have no boundaries. If they do the classroom thing where they want to split kids up, how many genders are we going to do this? We're going to put boys, them, and then girls, and then how many rooms do we need to create for equality? Or are we really chasing equity? And I think parents now are beginning to realize we've got to stop this and create framework about sexuality, especially in a hyper-sexualized culture. My kids don't need to know at 6, 7, and 8 years old about different types of sexual acts. That's not appropriate.
People think that
that is probably one of the best answers that I heard so far in this interview. That was amazing. That was amazing. He's speaking right now. He's talking right now.
It's just kind of happening. It's a one-off. It is in so many schools. Where I live in Florida, there was a poster going around where kids could text anonymous strangers to get information about sex. And on this poster in school, want to get laid?
Wow.
I mean, it's beyond, and there is a push for pleasure-based sex. Pleasure for who?
My oldest is 9 years old.
This is so crazy to me, right? How are y'all still standing over there? Y'all should be running over there to sit in the chair. Like, yo, some of the stuff that they're saying is nuts. Like, this is crazy.
She's in 3rd grade and she's been exposed to things, and we do have conversations about it, but that's a conversation that I should be having with my 9-year-old daughter.
Exactly.
If a 6th grader or a 4th grader is going to be prompted by a teacher, hey, what are your pronouns? As a parent, I should have a heads up about that, because they're not even going to understand the question. And so I think that the idea that those conversations are started in the classroom instead of in the home is a big problem. I have a family member who, first day of 6th grade, was asked for her pronouns, and she stood up and said that as a person of faith, she believed that God didn't make a mistake making her a girl, and so therefore she identified as a she, her, and she was sent to the principal's office and punished for that decision. Thankfully, we haven't seen that broadly yet, but I think it's really damaging to take a shy, innocent 11-year-old child and make them stand in front of a classroom and determine something that they maybe haven't even put that much thought into.
That is 100% facts. Any of y'all that watch this and y'all disagree with these conservative moms and dads, I have to question your sexuality, your morality, and I have to question whether you a pedo or not. I really do. Because if you disagree with them when they're saying that they want to protect their kids, and y'all okay with teachers teaching them about pronouns when the parents are not okay, that lets me know that you're into that type of pedo shit, or you have sympathy for that shit. I ain't saying that you probably do it, but you got sympathy for that shit. You do. I'm sorry.
I like what you said, Sean, about how you were emphasizing, how a lot of parents today felt a goodness of the way that sexual education was conducted in the past. So there is an agreement that sexuality should be talked about in schools. The disagreement is whether it should just be purely heteronormative or if we should include all aspects of sexuality.
Listen, I don't think that no sex should be taught in school. I think that should be something that the parents teach. I do not think that teachers should be teaching kids about sex, sexual acts, sex, anything that has anything to do with sex. I think that parents should be teaching their children about that, period. That's it.
Kids are naturally curious, and I think that what I'm hearing from you is I understand where you're maybe potentially coming from, but then where's the line between that sex education and introducing them to porn? Because porn can be educational. I was a virgin when I got married, and for years I was made fun of and heard, well, how are you going to know if you don't try it? We hear that a lot too. If you haven't tried to kiss a girl to see if you like it or not, then how do you really know that you're not a lesbian? How do you really know that you're not gay if you've never slept with a guy? How do you really know that you want to be in a monogamous relationship if you don't sleep around? And when you start to introduce those questions to children, specifically prepubescent ones, they're going to naturally be curious, and their emotional and hormonal maturity is not there to be making those types of decisions that have lifelong impact.
She is bodying this interview. Oh my God. Oh my God. She's bodying this interview. She's hitting everything on a fucking head. Everything. I'm not super religious. I'm not even religious. But what she's saying is facts. She's talking facts. This is what it is. I don't understand why y'all trying to dance around this shit.
You're right, and a lot of them are learning at home, because just like you guys are saying, they come home to tell you things. Well, guess what? Those same kids come to school and talk about what you're telling them at home. You'll be surprised what I hear from students when I do a "what do you think?" Well,
see, and this is why I have to call bullshit on this goofy ass nigga, right? First of all, if the kids are coming to you to tell you something, you should be like, stop right there. Don't tell me anything that happened in your home unless it's abuse. You know what I'm saying? Now, if the kid come to you and say, my mom and my dad punch me in my head every night or something like that, I wouldn't tell you not to accept that. But once they start talking about sexuality to you, you should shut them down right away. It shouldn't be no, well, let me hear so what happened? Oh, so your mom did this to your dad? Oh, you seen that? It's like, bro, you're trying to play this fucking game where you're saying, well, since you do it, since y'all do it, it's okay if we do it. No, nigga, it's not okay if you do it. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not okay if you do it. It's not okay if you do it. You shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be teaching their kids about sexuality when they're not around and they don't know that you're teaching them about sexuality. That's what they're saying. You're trying to say, well, just like they come to y'all and tell y'all stuff, there's plenty of kids that come to us and tell us stuff. Like, get the fuck out of here, dog.
Let me tell you what my mama and daddy did. And look, I don't have time. Your kid is not that important to me, not to be rude. I got like 300 students.
See what I mean? Like, you're trying, this nigga, I don't understand how you even doing an interview. How you even doing an interview? You up here saying people's kids are not important to you. You got 300 kids, so none of those kids are important. So you're acting as if this shit is a burden to you. Like, oh man, I have so much stuff I have to do. Like, what are you talking about? You're a teacher. Teach, nigga. What the fuck are you talking about? You mad? You seem like you're fucking mad because you gotta teach people's kids. Then why the fuck you going to the field? I don't understand it. Your kids are not that important to me. Why would anybody want you to teach their kids when you talking like this? I can imagine how you talk in class. I don't understand how anybody would want their kids around you when you're basically saying their kid's not even important. So what are you saying? Because you ain't being clear. Because if you're saying something different, you ain't being clear. You're basically saying kids are not important to you. So you're just basically doing this job for a fucking paycheck.
Your kid is no more important than the other 299. So I don't have time to sit up here and let me get you to think like me. I can't get my own 23-year-old to think like me.
I see why. I see why. He probably don't want to think like you. Because you have this sense of like standing over somebody and like entitlement type shit. Not even entitlement, like you like some type of fucking Messiah type of whatever. You know what I'm saying? You have this Messiah complex. That's what it come off to me, as if you're like so much better than everybody, and I know what I'm talking about, and I know, and they don't, and I'm the best for it, and I know. Like, get the fuck out of here, dog.
At the end of the day, what needs to happen, and this is just my own personal take, parents need to start being parents, because a lot of times the teachers are the parents. They're parenting your kids because absentee parenting.
All right. This guy. Okay. Probably in the shortest sense of that, right? You're saying that. But here's my thing. So if you are saying that teachers are the parents, and you're saying your kids are not that important to me, aren't you just like the parents, nigga? You're just like the parents. That you claim the parents need to be more parents. And how do you know? You don't know. This is what makes me mad about people like this guy. Like, it pisses me off because what he does is he looks down on everybody else and tries to make it seem like he has all the answers and everything, and I know better. I can just imagine having a conversation with this nigga, because I'm sure he'd be saying all types of sarcastic shit and finishing your words for you and all types of stupid, goofy shit. But anyway, this is what pisses me off, right? So what he does is he says that the parents need to be more parents. Well, how about the teachers need to be just the teachers? The teachers don't need to be parents. The teachers don't need to be trying to tell parents how they need to raise their kids. Because a lot of y'all teachers don't have kids. That's just that. A good percentage of teachers might not have kids. Not saying all of them, but a good percentage of them don't. And a good percentage of them do. A good percentage but parents, they all have kids that come to your school. But the way you're making it seem as if, like, you are the teacher. You're not the guardian. You're not you're the teacher. You're like a glorified babysitter for 8 hours. That's it. You're no different from a babysitter that teaches a child how to do something. You're the same thing to me. You're the same thing. That's it. A babysitter that teaches a child how to do things, you're the same thing. You're just a bigger or better version of that. That's all you are.
I think that this conversation is really interesting, and I think we need to step back and look at why we automatically assume that if we're telling our children about lesbians, gay people, queer people, why do we immediately equivocate that to telling them about what sex is?
Because you are when you tell them that, you goofy ass bitch. That's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. When you're telling a kid what a lesbian is, what a transsexual is, you're talking about sexuality. That's exactly what you're doing. I don't understand how you're trying to make it seem like you're not. You're talking about sexuality because they're going to say, well, what is a transsexual? You're going to have to tell them what their sex is. It's sexuality. This shit is crazy to me.
That can just be something as simple as, here's a book. In this book, there are 2 dads. This book character has 2 dads. And kids, they can be inquisitive, and that's good, right? But also, like, they're gonna be like, cool, there's 2 dads.
All these kids know that there's a dad and a dad and a...
What? Listen, it don't have to be there's 2 dads, there's 2 moms. It don't have to be that. In this book, there's 2 dads. In this book, there's 2 moms. Children are fragile. So when you tell kids, in this book, there's 2 dads, they're going to go home and say to their mom and their dad, Mom, why in this book do they have 2 dads and you and my dad are together? What does that mean? That's what's going to happen. Y'all trying to make it seem like it's just normal. It's not normal. It will never be normal. It will never be normal. As long as there's a man and a woman that reproduce, it will never be normal for people of the same sex to be together. It might be acceptable, but it will never be normal because that's what it is. A man can't have a baby. It's abnormal. It will never be normal. I don't understand why y'all don't understand that or just don't get that. Why do y'all make it seem like this? Listen, it might be accepted in some way, shape, or form in society, but it's not normal. That's why people have a problem with it. Driving a car is normal. People don't have a problem with driving cars. That's normal. But driving a car with your hand, when you sitting on a hood with your hand on the steering wheel and a stick pushing the gas and saying that's normal, that's not normal. I don't understand it.
Mom and the culture is teaching all of that. So what we've noticed is that the curriculum in 8th grade and up is a lot deeper than that. It's more like, here is how you can have sex so you do not get pregnant.
Yeah.
Illustration of anal sex. That is the stuff that we're now reacting against. And that sadly is the trust that's being broken between teachers and parents.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. What is her, I just wonder what her comeback is for that. Like y'all trying to listen. I have no problem with the LGBTQ and trans community, whatever. Stay over there. That's what y'all do. I have no problem with that. But if that's what y'all want to do, that's fine. But the thing is, why are y'all trying to pull children into it? For what? Why? You can't do nothing with them. What are you prepping them for? Like, why? And I've seen this. I don't understand why y'all acting like y'all playing naive and y'all playing so stupid as if this shit don't go on. Y'all know this shit goes on. Y'all know some of these schools, some of these teachers, they be teaching kids about all types of sex. They be showing them sex. Not even teaching them about schoolwork. They're more concerned about their pronouns instead of actually more concerned about adjectives and pronouns. You get what I mean?
I think we're moving into a conversation about comprehensive sex ed.
That's what I mean. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Make everything has to be a fucking excuse.
Go into this classroom and I'm teaching kids, I'm not going to just teach kids material that is heteronormative.
Out of curiosity, it sounds like what you're saying is you want to be able to introduce all ways of life. Like these are the people that you will encounter with throughout life.
That is what I'm arguing, yes.
So would it be okay to include a book with a man having a relationship with a 12-year-old in that book? I know it's extreme.
No,
Hold on, but just hear me out.
Because now
Hear
you're
me out.
equivocating gay people to pedophiles.
No, I'm not.
And no, that's not okay.
That is
No, you're drawing.
See, he making a great point. See, this is my thing with these people, right? This is my thing with some of these liberals. Not all of them, but this is my thing with some of these liberals. This is what they do, right? So look, y'all acting as if like 10 years ago, they wasn't really teaching the stuff that y'all teaching today, right? They wasn't teaching the man and the man with a man and a woman with a woman. They wasn't doing that. Not saying it was fair or not fair, but they wasn't doing it. For the most part, they wasn't doing that. Now they're doing it. And they're trying to say that it's normal, right? What he's saying is, what's going to happen when you have a man and a child? And 10 years from now or 20 years from now, where you're saying, oh, it's okay. It's not far-fetched for him to say that, because look what happened from 10 years ago till now. I don't understand why y'all acting as if like what he's saying is just mind-blowing. Like it is what it is. They're making laws right now for the pedos.
A line that I'm not drawing,
And you're definitely crossing a line that
I
should
agree.
never be
I agree.
crossed.
I agree, and this is why I'm bringing it up: is who establishes the boundary.
The law.
But what
Period.
law?
That's
The law is
The law.
But the law that's been signed in in
No,
some
no,
few
I'm
states,
sorry. No,
like-
there's laws against between adults having sex with children. Now,
What my nigga, what are you talking about? There are laws, yes, but there are some states who are literally doing that now. Like, this is what I mean by a lot of liberals be smart, but they be uninformed. They be uninformed and it be the shit right under their nose. This shit is crazy.
if a student had two parents who happen to be of the same sex, I'm not going to sit there and discount who they are in my class. I cannot do that. I sign a contract.
I would never ask anybody to
What are you talking about? That's not even what they're talking about. That's not even what he was saying. What are you talking about?
uplift or suppress any child. I want there to be equality in the classroom. What I am saying is that there are factual instances where this is being taught in classrooms. I pulled my children out of public school because there are so many instances of this happening. I am a parent. I'm looking in the book bag every day. I'm checking in with homework. I am talking to the teachers and the principals, and I'm involved. But we didn't know that, during class, there were images shown of literal sex acts or describing certain situations that were inappropriate for young children.
Oh my God, yes! 100! Like what? How y'all agree with these people? I don't understand how y'all agree with this. If you agree with these other people, if you agree with them, something's wrong with you. Something's wrong. I'm sorry. I don't care. Something's wrong with you.
We have a belief system at home, and the children want to break the boundaries of that belief system naturally because we're human beings. That's just what we do. And we're trying to confine them to a set of beliefs to say, this is what is right in our home. And we're seeing the schools get funding from Planned Parenthood. They tried to pass a bill to put medical facilities to offer abortions in high schools here in California. And it's gradual, right? It starts with, this is a book that has two dads. This is a book with two moms. And it's just a gradual curiosity that could leverage and break away that child from the root in the home.
Yo, he is bodying this right now. That is what's up. He bodying this right now.
Education growing up was fully public education. College is where I started getting a curiosity for truth and education, and I think I'm so passionate about the education system today because it is obviously broken, but how do we fix it? Many of these progressive ideas in fixing it is just more empathy, sympathy, safety, but in reality, I see the public school system isn't actually accomplishing the goal of what education is, which is teaching critical thinking, how to understand, how to ask good questions, and then comprehend how to problem solve.
Own every
Yeah, man.
at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hurry in to get our best deals of the season. Get in and get away.
Affirmative action is racial discrimination.
There was a high school down the street from where I live in Los Angeles that encouraged all the kids of color to apply for their school play. And only once all the kids of color received whatever positions they wanted, then the white kids could apply. That, in my opinion, is an example of discrimination. The fact that we now have Harvard has black-only kids' dorms, that to me is segregation.
With affirmative action, we've seen with Harvard lawsuits and other things how it's backfiring and it's picking and choosing of which minorities can and cannot have success. It was done to try to create or make up for the wrongs of our past, but I think it's really backfired.
Yeah, it's really, excluding those excelling students in other races to fix the problems of the past, like you said. But I think the past, there were a lot of minorities that were excelling and doing really well.
Despite the foot of the
Exactly.
government, and like
Yes.
kudos to them.
Yes.
Incredible, strong human beings. And we shouldn't have that discrimination in any way anymore, but unfortunately, it has become a discrimination against other groups.
Yeah, it's racism. It is racism. If you are taking
like
a
this
group
one.
of people and judging them on their race and setting them aside, giving them a special treatment, if you are uplifting a person or you are trying to suppress a person because of their race, that is racism. So we're supposed to believe that someone like Barack Obama's children are like struggling because they're black? Like, that's ridiculous. So I pulled my oldest daughter out a public school in Florida. We were having debates about pulling down statues and changing names, and some of the school board members and some of the activist groups were saying that black children could not learn because of names on buildings, and that is completely asinine to me. It basically says that because we have a higher level of melanin, somehow our brains don't work. And every other kid could walk into the building and get the education that they needed, but somehow not for you black children. And I found that to be just disgusting. And I did not want my children to have any type of idea coming from authority figures who believed in such things like that.
First of all, I would like to say that affirmative action programs, the biggest beneficiary according to the data, and this has been government data, has been white women first and foremost. Second of all, I would never use Barack Obama's kids as a barometer for anything because they do have privilege as well as Will Smith kids. But if we talk about Laquan Smith down the street that nobody knows, there will be some impediments based on his race. Yeah.
Why? How do you know that?
Because people do tend to look and see race. What you were talking about is racism.
No, you can't do that, homeboy. You can't cite the data, and then when she asks you a question, you give her an assumption. You can't do that, homeboy. You can't. This is why I said this guy is a joke. He's a fucking joke. You can't. This is what liberals do, right? This is what a lot of liberals do. They always try to bombard you with data and facts when it suits them. But whenever it doesn't suit them, then all of a sudden it doesn't matter. You basically said, this is the data. White women benefit more with affirmative action. That's what you said. The data shows that. Then when she asked you a question, you come back and say, well, that's what it is. We can tell. Like, no, she's saying, how do you know that? Do you have any data on that? No, you don't. So that's what I'm saying. I can't go for your data analysis because you could just be saying that just to fucking say it to win an argument.
When it's institutional and structural, it does something totally different. And when the black wealth gap is 100 years behind the white wealth gap in America, it'll take 100 years to catch up.
Why do you think that's because of racism, though? You take one thing and say that is the cause for every person of color.
The data bears out.
Hey, that's what I mean. Like, now you're running back to the data. What are you talking about? You're getting smoked by these people, dog. You're getting fucking smoked.
What data? What data is saying that black people are behind? Because there are many black people that aren't behind, that are doing much better than other people.
No, you're absolutely right. And there are outliers in every single community. There are very strong.
Get the fuck out of here, yo. You motherfuckers make up anything to support. He couldn't answer the question, so the white boy had to jump in and save his fucking ass. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, yo, talking about something, there's scientists. Like, listen, bro. The same scientists, the same white scientists that y'all say ain't telling the truth, the same white people, y'all gonna listen. This is what I mean. Like, who you citing your data from? The same white people that's oppressing you? Like, get the fuck out of here, dog.
Members of the black community that are very affluent. There are also a majority that live in poverty. And if we see a bunch of cities that are majority person of color, and we're trying to recognize—
And who runs the cities? Who runs these cities? Who runs these? Listen, I'm just gonna let it go.
Why have these
I'm
places
sorry.
stayed at a very stable poverty line? But there are systemic reasons to why these communities are like that. How would you
I
say
would
that?
say probably because of policies that are in
That's
those cities.
racist policies.
Hold on,
Absolutely.
we got to define terms. When would you say that Watts and Compton became the way that it is? Was it like that in the 40s and 50s?
No, it's a growth
No,
because
I'm
of the
asking
policies,
you,
from
when-
redlining policies that were enabled.
In California?
Yeah, absolutely. California put in racist policies. I would never deny that.
All of these supposed solutions are actually hurting. Wouldn't a better solution be to teach our kids that we're all born in the image of God? We should all treat one another equally. And if you're if you don't
Okay,
believe
then
in
all men
God,
should be
then
created
we're all
equal with certain
we're all
advantages.
equal, right? If you come from a poor neighborhood, whether you're black or Hispanic or an immigrant from anywhere, obviously you don't have the same privileges that somebody who comes from a wealthy community, but that has nothing to do with your color. I don't think that if you're an impoverished black kid or you're an impoverished white kid, one should receive a resource and the other shouldn't.
And this is another thing that they're not bringing up, right? There are probably more, even though, and people gonna probably say some shit, but it's the truth. You just gotta go off of it. There are more poor white people in America than black people. That's a fact. There are more poor white people. I'm gonna say, people gonna say, well, that's because if you go by the ratio of black people, it's more white people, of course. Then you have to use that same argument when it comes to police brutality. There are more police brutality, white people being abused by cops than black people. You have to see, and that's what they don't want to ever do. They never want to use the same logic when it comes to something that supports their argument. That's what I mean. But yeah, I'm gonna let this go on, and I'm going to end this.
Say that it's economic then is the reason that causes these disparities?
Economic, but I don't think it's related to color.
But would you say if there's a majority of a particular group that lies underneath the poverty line in economic, race has anything to do with that?
It could, but it's just not blanket. You don't know. And why don't we look at the families, the black families, who have done those amazing things in this country and study what they did to succeed instead of just focusing on, oh, well, black people are behind and we don't even know what to do. Well, why don't we just go and look? Since you are a professor, wouldn't that be, you go and look at what has worked?
Well, I would never just go to you and just look at you. And I'm sorry, it's just the reality of the data. And so what I share...
Data can be broken up in umpteen different ways.
No, it can't.
Yes, it
No,
can.
actually, I just give
You're a
the data.
professor and you're saying
That's
that
why I
data
give
cannot
data.
be manipulated?
I don't
This is why my kids do not go to public school
I
anymore.
don't, and I'm glad they don't.
I just think it's
See what I
interesting.
mean? You see? You see what I mean? He's there just to argue. He's not there. He is not there to make somebody, serve a purpose and cause bring a great conversation. He is literally there to just argue. She said data could be broken up in different ways. He said no, it can't. He said no, data can't be broken up in different ways. As if people don't be polled in different ways. They poll people all the time, homeboy. Yo, oh my God, I'm ending this right now. I don't even need to see no more. I don't need to see no more, man. I don't understand this. This is crazy to me, man. I swear. I don't need to see no more, man. Man. It's crazy, man. That's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy how he would say that. Data can't be broken up. She just gave you an example of how data can be broken up. She just gave you an example. There are wealthy black people. Won't we study them to see what we can do? And you're saying, no, it's the data. She's saying, well, why are we always studying about black people who are impoverished? How come we don't learn about black people who are not impoverished? That's what she's saying. And you were basically saying, well, no, it's the data. The data shows this, ma'am. Then she says to you, well, the data can be broken up. Oh, no, it can't. No, it can't. This is exactly why I took my kids out of public school. I'm glad you took your kids out of public school. I'm glad. What? You came for an argument. You ain't come to have no resolution or just have something where y'all can actually talk and have a great conversation. You just came to be a fucking asshole. Get out of here, dog. Anyway, that's the video, guys. You know what it is. Like, share, subscribe to the page. You know what it is.